A blue zone is an area or locality where people are living greater than 100. The most important thing is they're living independently.
Where your insight really comes across is how you've been approaching senior living. You've bridged the gap. You're bridging the gap across the country.
Senior living is not a realistic solution. Everything can be cured if you catch it early. Our idea of love for parents is to give them a nurse. Then we are just acting emotionally without any clinical outcomes. Abhi aap batao, how is this for the good for your parent? Sorry dude, you're killing your parent. Tell me, what is the true job of a hospital? What is a hospital optimized for? Hospital is optimized for revenue per bed. They are a business.
You put that very clearly.
Okay.
I was trying to be diplomatic about it. Can you show the ring once again?
This is a ring that we have partnered with a company called Heart, which pulls certain data, which helps us to keep all our elders active. Tell me a profession that people die the last. Let me use the word die the last.
It's very hard. I think I don't know. Artists live longer? I don't know.
Politicians. Okay, agree?
Okay. Yeah.
Are they physically active? Hell yeah.
Pretty much.
Do they have a crazy sense of purpose?
Absolutely.
Every morning they're thinking, who should I beat? Who's stabbing me in the back? They're sharp.
Yeah.
Extremely sharp. Look at our honorable Prime Minister. Look at the guy in US. Look at Mr. Pawar, for example. Sharad Pawar.
Yes.
They fight disease. They fight age. They fight everything because purpose is high.
CM of Bengal.
Look at the honorable
She's still working
here, right?
Yes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I have a lot of questions. I have been hearing about senior living. I've been hearing about what Primus is trying to do. And I'm intrigued. Of course, I'm in that age where my parents are aging also. And I want to know that what is this all about? Is it the next revolution? And what are the things that we can look forward to? So, a lot of questions coming your way. Before we jump into what we want to talk about, what I want to ask you, I have this very interesting observation that I had while we were setting this entire thing up. We were talking about room fresheners, right? So before we were shooting, there was a person who came in and sprayed a room freshener, and you said, no, don't spray it in here. And I was astounded that why is he against room fresheners? A person who's been in spaces, a person who has been transforming living for people across the country, why is he against room fresheners? What is the reason behind it?
Hi, Somak.
Hi.
Thank you for having me, Galiti. Largely, many things that we do are rooted in misconception about what is good for us.
Okay.
And I will talk to you a lot about the misconceptions that how love gets confused for us kids. And we confuse love with dependence. We don't look at love as independence. I'll talk to you about all of that.
Right.
But as far as the room fresheners go, the best thing that we can all do for ourselves is to breathe natural fresh air. And the room fresheners in particular contain a whole bunch of CFCs. And there is no ventilation to take it out of. So there's tiny aerosol particles keep floating around the air here, which are not good for us to breathe. Just like scented candles are also very bad for us, which we think is romantic because of the internet stereotype.
What are you saying? We are fans of scented candles.
Yes, absolutely. You should, if your girlfriend or wife, I don't know your
wife
situation.
I'm not as young as you think I am.
Is suggesting that you should burn a lot of those. I would highly recommend that you check what kind of wax it is made of and what are the ingredients. And you can just take a picture and put it on ChatGPT and you'll be shocked to know the results of what it contains. So it contains a bunch of harmful toxins. So good old essential oils. So every time you have a doubt, just go back to your Indian roots.
Amazing.
Like our Ayurveda has all of these essential oils, which they essentially applied on us, or even they burnt in certain cases. Those are much better than scented candles that the West has, imposed on us, like many other things.
So I think that is a deep insight right there. We don't think so much. Similarly, a room freshener or a candle is a very small thing. I think where your insight really comes across is how you've been approaching senior living in India. Now, a lot of people might not be aware of the concept of senior living. Let me break it down. For example, you're a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old professional who's had to relocate from your hometown. And there's one big tension that we have, that what will happen to our parents who are aging. But herein comes this word where aging and living, you've bridged the gap, you're bridging the gap across the country. So I wanted to get into that. What would you say is senior living for people who are watching this episode?
The first thing is that senior living is not a real estate solution. It's not a house that you buy to live in where there are certain services.
Right.
It's a ecosystem where people can slow down aging and live longer. Let me break that down.
Yeah.
You may have read this book called Ikigai. Have you read that book?
Yes.
So the word Ikigai actually means purpose in Japanese.
Absolutely.
And there are these 6 villages or communities around the world which are deemed to be blue zones.
Blue zones, yeah.
Right? A blue zone is an area or locality where people are living greater than 100. The most important thing is they're living independently, not bedridden, not using wheelchairs and walkers. So there was this Japanese researcher who went and stayed in these blue zones, right? Okinawa in Japan, Loma Linda in California, Sardinia in Italy, Icaria in Greece, so on and so forth. He saw people have different genetic pools,
Yeah.
different weather conditions, different food habits, different cultural habits. Everything is different. एक ही चीज common है. Only one thing is common, that they all live up to 100 or greater than 100.
Yeah.
So after staying in all of these places, that's where this book Ikigai came out of it, and the word blue zone was coined, where he found that there are 5 common traits amongst all of these people. The first one he found was that people are physically active. In all of these places, movement is part of their daily life.
Yes.
The second one he found is they don't retire. This word retirement is one of the worst things that we can do for ourselves, right?
It's, I think, a social construct that corporates have created, or
It's a social construct created by maybe capitalism, for lack of a better word.
for lack of a better.
I will talk about retirement. I don't want to digress from this conversation. And I say retirement, I don't mean traditional retirement ki you stopped earning money. That's not what I mean. Okay. So just coming back to the blue zones. So people are physically active. Second one, he found that they don't retire. They have a purpose or they have a role. Every morning when a person wakes up in these blue zones, they play a role that is important for themselves and for the community at large. That's why I said don't retire. Third, he said that they are mentally active. Because they continue to be meaningfully doing something, they use their mind as part of their daily life. So they are not forwarding WhatsApp and watching TV. Okay. Fourth, he found that they are surrounded by nature, because a lot of these places, nature is part of their daily life.
Yeah.
Right. And fifth, he also said that there is this concept called a moi, where you sit down with a group of people and you eat about 70% of your stomach's capacity. So
Right.
people don't
Right.
fill themselves up.
Right.
Right. So broadly, if you look at it, people are physically active. They don't retire. They are mentally active. They are surrounded by nature. And one more, most important one, which I forgot to mention, is that their sense of community is very strong. People are part of a community. So people are part of people or with family or friends throughout their typical day. So this is what constitutes a blue zone. Yeah. And if you look at us as Primus, what we do is we create these mini blue zones where we enable this for the people who live with us. So if you think of a physical boundary of a project and say, how do I make this a blue zone? So I'm thinking, how can I make sure my residents are physically active? What do I do as part of their day? Early morning, say chair yoga, walking groups, physiotherapy, so on and so forth, to keep people physically active.
Right.
Second one, how do I make sure purpose is part of their life? So somebody like to sing, somebody may like to dance, somebody may like to teach in a school, somebody may want to. We had a gentleman called Mr. Shank. He learned French at the age of 75. That was his dream. We enabled it. And now he teaches French online, from the last 7 years. He now has become a teacher. So that's purpose. Purpose has got nothing to do with money. Somebody may choose to give away money. That is purpose. Somebody may choose to teach Mahjong. That is purpose. We have a whole bunch of people today who are doing that. Right? So we are enabling people to rekindle their passion. Sabke paas, there will be a bucket list.
Yes.
If you talk to your parents and ask
Yes,
them, hey,
yes.
you are busy bringing me up.
And a lot of it is unticked because of life and responsibility.
Because of life.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised, more than the men, the unfortunately ones whose box doesn't get ticked is the women, because somehow they don't get to retire. Right? The guy is sitting and forwarding WhatsApp and watching TV after a certain age. The lady of the house is still managing the cook, the maid, the driver, this, that. Basically, they're not retiring in the traditional sense, right? And their unfulfilled bucket list continues to be that way. So within our community, we make sure that everybody's bucket list gets filled. And because you're living in a project, community is already part of our life. So we have an events team that brings people out of their house to the common area.
Amazing.
If you come down thrice a day to the restaurant to eat, by default, you're already in a community.
And
So
you're
sitting
moving. And
with
you're
your group. You're moving.
Yeah.
You're sitting with your group of friends. You're talking. Each person has a role. If you look at your core group of friends, you 4-5 people.
Yeah.
All of you have a role.
Absolutely.
If they want to think about media and visibility, they'll call you. So they'll ask you, hey dude, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think about it? Maybe somebody else has something else to contribute.
Yeah.
Every dining table in my project has that role. So they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel relevant. The most important thing is relevance. The minute we lose relevance, then we lose everything and we start to collapse. So that's what we are trying to do. We're building this community that's a blue zone. People are active, people are surrounded by people, people are mentally stimulated, and then people live a life that is stress-free. And again, when it comes to, we have added 2 more things, right? This is the blue zone. We're creating blue zone by giving these pillars of aging. But as Primus, I have added 2 more layers to it.
Okay.
Because we're living in an urban jungle.
Yeah.
The quality of life is not as good as being in nature. We are not able to give nature in the true sense. So we'll have to supplement it with something else, right? So we have added preventive health or wellness and nutrition as our additional pillars.
That's fantastic. In fact, I was about to ask you that the blue zones that we were talking about, they're essentially non-Indian examples.
Yeah.
The Indian society or the Indian environment, we have some more challenges. If you talk about the weather, if you talk about the quality of food, there have been issues with that, and we all know about it. So I wanted to ask you that what are the challenges you faced in implementing the blue zones, and have you been able to dispel of the myth that India में नहीं हो सकता है, पर India में हो रहा है?
So you will be surprised to know that the Singapore government is the first major city in the world who's working with a goal to become a blue zone by 2035.
Okay.
They are actively thinking of, which is why they have neighborhood community centers for elders. Yeah. They are reducing the dependence on private transport and moving towards public transport. They are encouraging walking as a way to get from A to B. If you look at and they have made lots of common parks and amenities. Yeah. So Singapore is actively working. Why is it? Movement is life. Physical activity.
Absolutely.
Community. Nature. They're bringing all of that in with a plan. I think India was a blue zone. Urban India has now not become a blue zone. Because we have taken away community. We think that we are a joint family ecosystem. But India is already 60% nuclear.
Right.
Urban India is 78% nuclear. Right? So loneliness is one of the major challenges. Just because somebody is in a joint family, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not lonely. I have a word for it. It's called IDC.
IDC.
Yes.
And that stands for?
Invisible Decline Curve.
Oh.
Our own people that we love, in front of us, they are declining, we are not able to recognize. Let me give you a few examples. Let's say somebody that we love, one day while sitting at a dinner table, they'll be like, hey, did I have breakfast today? Now, at home, we'll think, yaar, he or she is getting old. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. Maybe that is first sign of dementia. Early sign. So if you were in a community like ours, right, we would be giving games, activities, and so many things that that person won't even know they're being treated for dementia. They are thinking they're having fun and living a normal life. So what I have learned is independence and agency is the top. The most common question I get from my residents and from children of my residents, which hospital do you have a tie-up with? This is the first question I get. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have a tie-up with any hospital, and I will tell you why. What is the job of a hospital?
To cure an illness.
So you're giving me a socialistic answer. Tell me what is the true job of a hospital?
Okay,
goal. Let me not say job. What is a hospital optimized for? A hospital is optimized for revenue per bed. There's nothing wrong with that. They are a business.
You put that very clearly.
Okay.
I was trying to be diplomatic I'm not, they play a vital role in society. I'm
I'm not reducing the role that a hospital plays.
Right.
I am telling you how senior living hospital is not the important thing. I think that's the point I'm trying to make.
Right.
That a hospital's goal is revenue per bed. My goal is to keep you out of the hospital. So by having a hospital within my project, I'm going against my own goal, because then the people there will have a revenue target. My target to my medical team is make sure these people don't go to a hospital. And there is no revenue target.
Right.
The job of my team is to make sure my people are healthy and active. So when I told you preventive health, right, I'll tell you how it's very, very, very different.
Okay.
Preventive health is not waiting for something to go wrong and then acting in haste and emotion. That's what we all do.
Right.
Some symptoms show up, we go to a doctor, some bunch of tests are prescribed,
Yeah.
get that test done,
Yeah.
and then they'll be like, oh, okay, we found something late. And then you're pretty much fighting only the symptoms, very difficult to take away the underlying disease.
Right.
When we, for example, if a person moves into a Primus community, we are doing a bunch of things where we would measure the physiotherapy markers. Okay, how much is we do, let's say, a DEXA scan. We do a bunch of simple tests. I can tell you which leg, how much weight you put, how much muscle you have lost in your knees, in your hips, what is your chance of falling down. I'll be able to tell you with a score. And then through physiotherapy, I'll reduce your chance of falling. Not by putting some anti-skid tail and crap. वो तो कोई भी डाल सकता, right? I have reduced knee replacement surgery by 90% through physiotherapy. I have reduced falls by 98%. These are all data that we can prove and show you, because we think we'll never fall until the fall happens to us.
Absolutely. And with
Right.
age, the chances
Yeah.
increase.
And we think that's for somebody else. They are going to fall. I'm not going to fall till we fall.
Right.
And once you fall, quality of life is never seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of our key roles is to reduce the chance of people falling down. So we're doing that through physiotherapy. Then we measure various blood markers, and then we measure psychosocial markers. Then we have these various devices, like this is a Marzi ring, which we have partnered with Heart.
It's a Marzi ring.
Yes.
Okay. I'll come to Marzi after this.
Yeah, wherein this, along with our home, is health smart. So we have things, we have like an Alexa integration of health, we have a fall sensor, we have sensors in the bathroom, we have a bunch of health tech into our homes. Plus, since people live with us, we are able to feed all of this into our EMR, and we're able to tell underlying conditions before they become pronounced. I'll give you another example. Say once in 2 years, if I do a CT angio, I'm able to put a cardiac score on a person. So the chance of a cardiac issue happening I've reduced. If I do once in 8 months an oncology test, I'm able to catch cancer in stage 1. Everything can be cured if you catch it early. What we do in our own homes with the IDC, invisible decline curve, is we don't recognize any of these symptoms.
Yeah.
Then there's an
Something
event.
massive happens.
There's an event. Then we are just acting emotionally without any clinical outcomes. Yeah. Another example of this is our idea of love for parents is to give them a nurse.
Okay.
Our idea of love, because that's what society is conditioned.
Yeah.
Ab kuch mat, what does a nurse do? Don't do anything. Don't stand. Don't sit. I will do everything for you. Abhi aap batao, how is this for the good for your parent?
Mobility, like we were talking about.
This is the worst thing we can do for a parent. Now this child who loves their parent is going and telling the world, I am spending 50,000 rupees. Best nurse leke aaya yaar. Please tell me I'm great. Sorry, dude, you're killing your parent.
So I'll just tell you a story on this. So my father, he's 75 and he loves walking. And by God's grace, he has been free of medical ailments. And he had to go somewhere, which I think is in my opinion, walking would take a little longer. And it was summer. I offered to drop him by my car. He was, no, this is the only walking I get to do in my day. If you drop me by your car, yes, I will have the comfort of the AC. But what happens to my walking? Okay, all right. But now I actually see your point.
Thank you for being a good son. So we don't understand this because we don't understand aging. We don't look at aging as a science. We look at it as a social obligation that we are somehow supposed to be good kids by making our parents dependent on us. No, we are terrible kids if we do that.
Right.
If we make, like I say please don't give a driver. Driving is great for our elders.
Yeah.
Keeps them mentally active, keeps them physically active. There is stimulation. So you are actually more energetic.
Yeah.
Now, we may think that we are making life convenient. That's not the way that we should be thinking of convenience. Because when IDC happens, which is the invisible decline curve, it leads to something that I call DRS, not the cricket DRS.
Not the DRS. I was just waiting.
The dependency risk spiral.
Okay, so I have the IDC. If I am looking at it as a graph,
Yeah.
so if this is the IDC, the opposite is the DRS.
Yes.
Or
It leads to that, right? Like
leads
you don't recognize any of the symptoms, and then we start, because when we start to see the early signs, our idea of love is we help out. I'll give you a nurse, I'll give you a driver, I'll give you a cook,
Right.
I'll give you A, B, C, D, except making sure you're independent. I will do everything opposite to that. That leads to the dependency risk spiral. What happens during dependency? Stage 1 of dependency is that you lose your ability to make decision because somebody else is making your decision. Stage 2 of dependency, stage 1 actually is loss of confidence. You start losing confidence. Ki I can do it. I can't drive. I can't holiday. I can't do this. I can't do that, because everybody is reinforcing that.
yeah.
Second is decision making ability. Now you stop taking your decisions. Somebody else is taking your decisions. Third and worst thing is then you start to lose relevance. You feel I'm not useful. I'm not doing anything. That's the dependency. And from here, quality of life is gone. You are alive only for the sake of being alive. And no elder wants it. And a lot of children, without realizing, we're putting our parents into the IDC and DRS spiral without realizing. Not that there is lack of love. There's tremendous amount of love. It's lack of understanding of aging.
But what you're actually saying goes against years of social conditioning, as you think, and this is actually a way we can create a new social construct. But tell me something. When you put this, sorry,
I'll answer this with an example.
Yeah.
Tell me a profession that people die the last. Let me use the word die the last.
Okay.
Live the longest independently. Like example दीजिए आप.
That's very hard. I think I don't know. Artists live longer. I don't know.
I'll give you a simple example.
Okay.
Politicians. Okay, agree?
Okay. Yeah. Agree.
I'm not here to debate politics.
Of course.
I'm here to talk about aging.
Yeah.
Now let's look at politicians from the lens of aging. Are they physically active? Hell yeah.
Pretty much.
Do they have a crazy sense of purpose?
Absolutely.
Every morning they're thinking, who should I beat? Who's stabbing me in the back? They're sharp.
Yeah.
Extremely sharp. So mentally active, high purpose.
Yeah.
Are they surrounded by people? Yes.
Yes, community.
Strong sense of community.
Yeah.
But you do these 4 things, forget everything else, you will live longer. Look at our honorable Prime Minister, look at the guy in US, look at Mr. Pawar, for example,
Yes.
Sharad Pawar.
Yes.
They fight disease, they fight age, they fight everything because purpose is high.
CM of Bengal.
Look at the honorable
She's still
Chief Minister
working.
here, right?
Yes.
So that's what we need to learn.
Right.
This traditional retirement needs to go away. Just ask yourself, am I following these basic principles of living in a blue zone? Am I active?
Yeah.
Am I surrounded by people? Do I have something to do when I wake up that gives me meaning and gives somebody else also meaning? Right? And then have I made sure that I have a social circle beyond my immediate spouse? And just, am I physically going around? Am I stepping out? Do I think of movement as essential to my life? Forget the medical part, forget the nutrition part. Even if you do these 3-4 things, research has shown that 5 to 6 years you can increase health span. This is the other thought.
Yeah.
For far too long, we have only lifespan.
Yeah.
Because you get birth certificate, somebody issues death certificate.
That's it.
And paper maybe you get this year to this year.
The obituary. Yeah.
Nobody is telling how many years this person lived independently. Maybe the person was connected to tubes and bedridden for many, many years. Who wants that? Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
We need to start measuring health span. And if you talk to your parents, any elder, they will tell you that is their wish. Their wish is that they want to go on their feet. Nobody wants to die in a hospital bed.
Beautiful thought. We were talking about Ikigai. I think you have found your Ikigai, Adarsh. Senior living, if I may. One of the many things. And I'm sure you're very passionate and that passion shines through. I really want to know that you have this very deep understanding of this problem. I wouldn't call it a problem, but a challenge that we face in society today. What motivated you to take this up as your own passion project or as something that you fiercely believe in?
So, Somak, this was an accidental business.
Oh,
I had no idea it's a business.
okay.
So, I am from Bangalore. And in the south of India, our idea of success, at least the place that I come from and the family that I come from, was always education.
Okay.
We are not business people by default, right? So my grandmother had 11 siblings. Right? India, it has 1.3 billion people for a reason. She was the eldest sibling, and all of her siblings, because they did very well in studies, except me and my father clearly, they landed up going to the US because that was, being very successful.
Yeah, at that point of time.
At that point in time, right? I'm talking many, many years
30
ago.
years back or
ago,
40
right?
years back.
Yeah. So whenever they used to visit my grandmother, they used to tell her, my kids are calling me to the US. Apparently, there's something called a retirement village. But we don't want to go to US because we don't know anybody there.
Right.
And it's a cold country, so on and so forth. And then I was brought up by my grandparents. There's a long backstory to that, which I don't want to bore you with. But my grandmother is the one who primarily brought me up.
Okay.
And then she called me one day and she told me in the local language, she said, Put Papa, which means small baby. That's what she used to call me.
Why? What is it? Can you say it again?
Put Papa.
How
In
sweet.
Kannada, it means small baby.
How sweet.
She called me that
Okay.
forever. I lost her in 2015, but I did my first project before that.
Great.
So she told, why don't you do something for my sisters? They don't want to go to the US. That's the first time I Googled old age home America. I didn't know what the word senior living was foreign to me. So once I started reading about it, I realized that it's something that I may enjoy. And more than anything, I wanted to make her proud. So I took a break from work. I actually traveled to the US. I traveled to Japan. I traveled to Australia to see ye kya hai. And I didn't even live one night in a hotel. I lived every night wherever I was outside in a retirement community. So I spent time with the elders, understood their motivations. I met everybody there. I sat and had meals with them to know what makes this work. And that's how I came back and I started Primus. I said, I'll do one to make my grandmother proud.
Yeah.
I don't know whether something will work out or not work out. Of course, the first one is always tough.
Yeah.
Financially, the journey was tough.
Yeah.
But it taught me that this is not a business of real estate. It's a business of services and care.
Right.
And then after that, abhi accidentally business ban gaya.
So, what was that first stint of success, or the first point where you understood that no, this is actually working and people are resonating with it? What was that moment?
So I think when we launched our project and then till it was occupied, I had no clue. I was also very skeptical. People around me thought that we are doing a vridhashram, ye to vridhashram hai. Kaun who will send their parents?
I'll actually come to that, how it is different from
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
typical old age home.
Yeah, I'll talk about that
Yeah,
too.
we'll talk about
So that's what people thought because nobody had seen what this looks like, right? Because Bollywood, for the longest time, has conditioned you to believe that children and parents should stay together and that anybody who does otherwise is deemed to be bad. So obviously that was affecting us. Once we finished and once people came in and saw that, oh, these kind of people are here, highly educated, highly successful. They're big bungalows in the city center. They have moved to the suburbs to live in a smaller home only because of community.
Yes.
Only because of who gets to be your neighbor, who you get to eat with, who you get to chat with,
And the
who you
environment.
go for a walk with. Plus this completely stress-free life where everything is taken care of. That had to be showcased. So once we opened, within the first few months of opening, we got sold out. But we hadn't sold till we opened. Like it was financially very stressful.
Yeah.
We'd taken out a massive loan. And at completion, we were 40% sold. 60% of inventory was still left. And everybody around me was like, boss, what are you doing? And then I used to only think that, okay, I need to make my grandmother proud. So I'll stick it out for one. And then in 6 months, we sold out. And that's when the references started to become our biggest engine. Ever since, we have just depended on our customers to get us more customers. And we are now in about 6 cities doing 3,500 homes. And it's largely run because of referral. And people have now understood that senior living is not vridhashram.
Right.
Senior living is a luxury I choose. I choose. I am buying something. A vridhashram is something that's forced down your throat. And see, everything, ultimately convenience wins. And I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
50 years back, or not even 50 years back, I think 30, 40 years back, I don't think love marriage was a thing. You agree?
Agreed.
If you married somebody that your parents didn't choose for you, you are also deemed to be a bad child.
Yes. You're
Today, I
going
think-
against that social construct.
Today, I think nobody is taking that route, or very few people
Right.
are taking that route.
Right.
And in the family, nobody feels bad about it. Right?
Rather, I would say that if somebody, if a youngster or young person today has decided to go for an arranged marriage, we will probably, okay,
Yeah.
all right. So,
So
there will be one doubt.
This is exactly the way senior living started off and where it's going. Because now people are saying, boss, I am having this lifestyle. You may be in a 5-bedroom bungalow that is worth 10, 20 crores. But who's there with you? You're just two of you sitting with 5 servants. What are you going to do? Is that your idea of luxury? That is not luxury anymore. Luxury is being with people who make you feel good, make you feel seen, make you feel important, and just living a life of fun. That is luxury.
You actually answered my question about the differences. Uh, there is one more term that comes along with senior living that we've been talking about, or I've been hearing, that is active aging.
Yeah.
So I think we've covered a lot of the points that would be there under active aging. But if I would have to explain it to somebody, because aging by default goes into the idea that okay, I am older now, I need to slow down. So does active aging prevent you from slowing down, or does it take slowing down into a different context, or does it integrate it into your already existing lifestyle? I wanted to ask that.
Thank you for asking this question because again, this is our idea of aging and social conditioning.
Yeah.
Abhi ye mat karo.
Ye
Don't
mat-
do this. You're too old for
Too
this.
old to for this, yeah.
You can't be walking. You can't be driving. You can't. No, this is the worst thing. Please don't listen to your kids. Please don't. Do everything that you want. Climb that hill. Go on that trip. Please do everything you want because it will make you slow down aging. Movement is life is there everywhere.
Yeah.
How can you take away movement and expect life to be there? So active aging is that same philosophy that says that we will put the power in your hand to do whatever you want to do and not make you dependent on anybody. Love and dependence are two different things. In our idea of love, we make parent into patient.
Yeah. Parent into patient.
Okay, parent should be parent.
And we should be patient with them.
Huh? No, you
Oh.
don't. You do nothing.
You do nothing.
You give love. You build a great relationship. Let them be.
So, of all the things in the blue zone philosophy, I think one area we must talk about is the food, the diet. And like you said, that yes, it's very clear in the Japanese philosophy that don't stuff your stomach. Eat 70-75% or whatever
Yeah.
that number
Yeah.
is. And with age, I have seen this. I've seen this with myself, with my elder brothers also, that when we were in our 20s, there were things we would eat 2 plates of. But now we can barely finish half a plate of it. And these things will increase. I've seen my father go from a strict non-vegetarian to an almost vegetarian diet, veg diet or a vegan diet. So, how are you looking at the nutrition for elders, the diet and the food for elders?
So going back to the blue zones,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So in Okinawa, they have this thing called it's called hara hachibu.
Okay.
So hara hachibu translated means eat 70% of your stomach's capacity.
Yeah.
And the food is you have to, other than hara hachibu, you eat in a moi. A moi is your close group of friends.
Yeah.
So you sit as a group of friends and you eat 70% of your stomach and you eat slowly. That's the most important thing because our stomach doesn't realize we are full unless you spend 20 minutes eating. By the way, all of these Indians used to do it. It's just that new India is getting so influenced by the West.
Yes.
We had this thing. In Ayurveda, it's called Mita Ahara. It's there in our Ayurvedic books. In Mita Ahara, it's very clear. 1/4 empty,
Yeah.
1/4 liquid, half solids. That's what Mita Ahara means.
In fact, if I translate it to Bangla, it means mito ahar. And mito means in control. In control, absolutely.
So we just need to go back to what we were doing. So if we eat slowly, if we eat with a group of people, and if we eat half to 75% of our stomach, that is much better for us from the lens of health span and longevity.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other equally important thing is, say you and me,
Yeah.
in our working life, when we take a dabba, we are likely to not get all the nutrients.
Absolutely.
Because you will get, either rice and gravy,
Yeah.
or you'll get roti and sabji.
Yeah.
So it's not going to tick any of the boxes. But if you eat in a community like ours, where there's a buffet, you're able to meet all the micronutrient requirements.
Right.
You can add nuts, seeds, protein, because you get a holistic meal. It's impossible to get a holistic meal when you're cooking for 2 people.
Absolutely. So, what are the things that you have compulsorily kept on the diet for elders in your in the wonderful spaces that they spend their time in?
The first thing is, I told you, the most important thing is independence in agency.
Yeah.
So there's no word called compulsory.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
The only thing that we say is we nudge and guide elders, okay, on what may be good for them.
Okay.
Ultimately, everybody will do what they believe is good for them.
Right.
Our job is to give an ecosystem that the chances of doing the best are the highest. Now, because there is a buffet, and because the food is made in a healthy way, we have a nutritionist who's backing it.
Okay.
The chances that you get a healthy plate are much higher than in your own house, where a cook is cooking who may not understand what proportion of what to be put into a meal.
Yeah.
So that's the way that we would look at it.
Coming to this part of India where we are shooting this episode, we are in Kolkata right now. And Kolkata, not just Kolkata, but Eastern India, I think we have a rapidly aging population because, as we all know, that there has been a migration of the young people from the eastern parts of India. And the reasons are diverse. This is not a podcast about that. But what it leaves behind is, say, beautiful bungalows in a nice residential place, but there are just two elders living there, and like we were talking about, and this is I think plaguing the city of Kolkata or the eastern part of India. So, what are your objectives, and how are you looking at this part of India, this city? I want to know that.
So when we do our own research on who our customer is, one thing stands out loudly. The more the educated our elder, the quicker their decision to live in a solution like we provide.
Wow.
Because we are not in the business of selling a home like real estate.
Right.
We're in the business of aging and reducing aging.
Yeah.
There is a lot of content out there on how one can slow down aging.
Yeah.
And how an ecosystem like this actually helps a person.
Right.
So my typical customers read up, understand, and then they come in and make the decision. So because they read and they understand, by default, my customers are highly educated. So we look for places to expand where we can find pools of educated elders. And what better place than
Kolkata.
Bengal and Kolkata? We have such a high literacy rate. We have such highly intellectual people.
Yeah.
And that is why it was a no-brainer for us to be here. That the people are educated. We just need to let people know that this is how aging works. And now there is a solution, as opposed to living in a independent bungalow with servants, living in a community, how it could potentially help them live longer and happier and healthier.
Right.
Because, getting old is inevitable. Feeling old is optional.
A wonderful statement. I think that is the crux of this episode today. But tell me something, the lifestyle that you're providing, or this community that you're providing, there is a requirement of an investment for that. I want to get into the finances a bit, the affordability, and are we looking at it as an investment point of view? So what would your view would be on that?
So typically it is a home.
Yeah.
Like an apartment.
Yes.
So from the lens of an investment, it would be priced like a typical home.
Yeah.
And it would work from an asset lens like a typical home.
Right.
It can be resold, it can be rented, it can be owned by anybody.
That's great.
But it can be occupied only by a person above 55.
Oh,
right. So that's how we do it, so that the community is created for people who are typically between 55 to 75.
Okay.
That's our typical community. And because the supply is so low, there's a massive amount of demand for resale and rental. So if say a 2-bedroom home in a Rajarhat is getting a rent of say 35,000 rupees, a equivalent senior living home would probably get 45,000 rupees. Simply because there are a ton of people who may not want the investment and who want an immediate solution to stay.
Right.
So if I take another step back and tell you who our typical customer is,
yes,
we have 3 types of customers.
Okay.
Most of our sale is directly by the elder themselves. So people between the age of 55 and 75, with their investment money, means savings, they invest in buying a new home. They'll have this old home somewhere in the city.
Yeah.
They rent that out and then they move in here. So this rental becomes their lifestyle expenses and this becomes their primary residence. That's our majority of the buyer. And typically these people's children are not living in the same house.
Right.
They may be in another city, they may be in another country.
Okay.
That's our largest segment of buyer. The second set of buyer is what I call the weekenders.
The weekenders.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the weekenders live in joint families. 5 days a week they live with us. 2 days they go back to the joint family. Because these elders are saying, listen, boss, I am not a nanny. मुझे भी मजा करना है.
Huh, obviously.
You buggers are busy leading your life. I brought you up. I'm not going to also make my entire life about bringing up another.
Obviously.
I love my kids and grandkids.
Yeah.
But I want to also do other things that I love.
So I don't want my grandkids to be a burden on me.
It's not about being a burden. It's about giving everybody their space to do what they love.
Absolutely.
Right? So these are the weekenders who go back only 2 days. 5 days they live with us.
But shouldn't they be weekdayers? Because, they're spending the week here.
Because the weekend is back to their old house.
Okay.
That's, it could be weekdays.
Yeah.
Maybe I should change the word. The last one is our returning NRI. So we have these people who are investors, but typically they live in some other country. But they're Indians. They want to come back to India after retirement.
Yeah.
So they buy a senior living home and they give it on rent till the time they need it.
Right.
So these guys already have historic property in India.
Right.
So they'll come back after their retirement. So these are our, 3 categories of buyers. But in our case, elders are highly independent. Financially, they're very independent. So they use their money and then they pay their money and they buy with us. Because that is the value system that generation typically holds. That they don't want to depend on their kids for any reason.
And I think our previous generations, they understood the importance of saving money, of investing that money and creating value. So I think this is great value that they are creating for themselves. Do you remember some of your very positive customer feedback, which you will always remember, which you will always take with you?
So, Somak, the biggest benefit that I get personally by doing all of this is the kick of going to one of my communities and hearing what people have to say.
Okay.
Right? If I take out my phone and show you, I get 10 WhatsApp a day where people are praying in their own house and they've included me in their prayer.
So sweet.
Because I have solved what they think was a real problem for them.
Beautiful.
You can't measure that in money.
Absolutely.
Right? That just cannot be measured in money. So that's the kick that I live for every day. Every time I go, I'm welcomed like a person who's made life much more fun and much more easier, as opposed to a company that is trying to make money by selling some product or service. So that just cannot be measured in money. It has to be felt.
Yeah.
And you should come to our community.
I will definitely. And I just might stay there. I'm not 55 yet, but I'll find a way. But tell me something. Did you find in this world of very smart and sometimes ruthless businessmen, have you found people who share your vision? Have you found teammates who can take this forward?
I mean, 100%. See, what makes the world interesting is it's filled with different type of people.
Yes.
So we also have investors. So obviously they believe in us very, very strongly.
Yes.
So a couple of my prominent investors are, of course, Nikhil and Nitin Kamath.
Yes.
They are very sensitive to the idea of impact and doing good along with business. So they are my investors. I also have a very large VC fund from the US called General Catalyst.
Okay.
They are a $47 billion healthcare fund, one of the biggest in the world, who incidentally run health for a community called the Villages in the US. And it is the world's biggest retirement community. Can you tell me how big must be the biggest community?
No idea.
35,000 acres. One project, 35,000 acres, 162,000 people living in one location.
That is amazing.
So we're lucky to be backed by such people who believe in the vision and who believe in the sector.
Yeah.
So there are lots of people who support us. I have a lot of landowners who come to me and say, listen, bahut paise banaya yaar. I want to do something good. I want to give this for you only. I could make this big building.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the value system. Even here, we are partnered with Srijan. And they share the same value system with us. They said, you know what, we have done a lot of projects. We want to do something that also gives back.
Absolutely.
And that's how we have partnered here and we're in Calcutta.
In fact, when we were talking with the Srijan team and about the association, one thing that came across very, very beautifully, that I would say, is that whenever they were talking about you, and I'm not saying this because you're here, there was this certain reverence which I think is because of your vision. Because not a lot of people are thinking like this. Not a lot of people are addressing a problem or a challenge, which is apparently not a challenge for a lot of for a great amount of the population. Because this is about people like we were talking about. This is about the elders whom we've probably taken for granted. हाँ तो our parents are there. Parents are at home. Delivery आएगा तो parents will collect it. Something like that. But our parents, they have spent so much of their life giving back to us and giving to the society and everything. It's time that they have something for themselves also. And it's a beautiful thought and a beautiful initiative. Along with this, another word which I think is a very interesting word, it's called मर्जी. जैसे कि बोलते हैं कि हम लोग अपने मर्जी के मालिक होना चाहते हैं,
Right.
but you've taken this and put it in a very literal sense. Can you show the ring once again?
Yeah. So
Yes.
this is a ring that we have partnered with a company
Yes.
called Heart,
Yeah.
which pulls certain data,
Yeah.
which helps us to keep all our elders active.
So this is a Marzi ring.
We call them the Gen EV, Gen Evergreen,
Oh.
because people who associate with us don't think of themselves as older or
Yeah.
senior or elder.
Evergreen.
So we call them the Gen EV.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about Marzi and what it stands for?
So, Somak, I look at myself as an anti-aging entrepreneur. I don't look at myself necessarily as a housing provider
Yeah.
to the Gen EV.
Yeah.
Right? And as part of my own interest to cater to a larger audience, I've also started this company called Marzi,
Yeah.
like you said, which literally means live life on your own terms.
Absolutely.
Which is a cool offline social network for the people between the age of 50 and 75. So right now it's in Bangalore. What we do is we organize bunch of events. None of the boring things like you may think satsang and there's some temple. None of that. We will do mixology class. We will do mahjong class. We will do dance workshop.
Wow.
Anything that will help you break the stereotype of what an older person will do, Marzi will do it.
I love the way you said offline social network.
Yes, we are offline social network. You find us online, but the life is offline. Because it goes back to my philosophy of aging.
Okay.
People need to be with people. People need to feel seen, heard, and belong. It's a core emotion. Seen, heard, belong. All of us need it.
Yeah.
We get it easily.
Yeah.
Many people don't get it easily after they retire. Imagine a person who was some head of a bank. Imagine a person who was high up in the army.
Yeah.
They retired next day morning. Suddenly nobody is massaging their ego.
Of course. Of course.
Right? And then we think our parents are coming and repeating the same thing. Humne is mane pe aise. It's a cry for relevance.
Absolutely.
It is not that you can't think that, Arey, I get to hear the same lecture every day. Yaar. What have you done to make them feel seen and heard? Is what you should be asking yourself. So it's that's how Marzi was born.
Yeah.
We said we'll create a space where people get this emotion. So we do a bunch of events in Bangalore. We do holidays for this group. We do a whole bunch of things, but primarily it's cool hangout place. if I
How
have to
does the
tell.
ring work? I am very intrigued by the ring.
So this is part of our overall wellness package. Like I told you, my goal is to keep people active till the last day.
Right.
To be able to do that, you need to find something that is going wrong before it goes wrong. Now go one more step back. How do you find? Without data, though, you can't do anything. So this ties into our overall wellness program. So we would have, like I told you, physiotherapy data. We'd have psychosocial data. We'd have the blood marker data of your diagnostic. We overlay that with this. And in our homes, we have a bunch of more devices. So if our doctor goes and takes BP, they feed it into our EMR. If they go and take their weight, they feed it into their EMR. If they do a mineral density test, it goes into our EMR.
Yeah.
All of this, we have added a layer of AI on top of it, which gives us insight. Now look at this for this person, look at this for this person, and we make individualized care plans. And we bucket people into 3 buckets, right? Somebody who needs advanced care, somebody who needs very less care, somebody who doesn't need any attention other than, yeah, is everything okay? And then based on that, we continue to, monitor and engage people.
So, I can just take it from there. Sorry. Rola se to. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So like I was telling you, we have 3 categories of care. We put it as 3 bands, band 1, band 2, band 3. And then each of the people in each one of these bands have a different level of interaction with our team. So somebody may get a visit from the doctor every day. Somebody may not even get a visit in every 30 days. So it depends on the band. We take the data from all of these three funnels and then it narrows down to a care plan, and then our medical team is working on the care plan. So if we find underlying conditions early, we give outcome. Outcome gives health span. If we find underlying conditions late, we are acting in panic, and then we can't give health span. All we can do is we can give longevity, where people are alive but quality of life is gone, which is not our goal. My goal is whenever the maker has decided to take you, that's your time.
That's it. Right?
We will try our best to make sure that you are on your feet and laughing loudly.
So what I understand is there is a lot of technology involved, and I think you have given a free rein to a lot of technology to come in and help these people. Maybe it's AI, maybe it's devices. So can you throw some light on the technological support that you involve?
So within the physical home, there are 4-5 things, right? So there are fall sensors.
Yes.
And this can tell if somebody has fallen, not fallen. It's not something you wear. It's just there in the wall.
Okay.
So it automatically triggers a response.
Okay.
Because falls are the number 2 reason for early mortality in elders. We have to reduce falls.
Right.
By the way, number 1 is loneliness. Number 1 reason for reduced mortality in elders globally is loneliness. It's not heart disease. It's not cancer or whatever you think it is. It is loneliness.
So that is also a kind of a pandemic.
It is a big pandemic. So community solves loneliness. Purpose solves loneliness. That's what we do. So just going back to the house, so you have the fall sensor, and then you have the emergency alarms throughout the house in case of an emergency. You have hardware that makes life easy. So our kitchen cabinetry comes down to cooking height. You can sit down and cook. Our bathrooms have a safe infrastructure. You have like a heated towel rack. You have a hand shower. You have, as soon as a person gets down from the bed, there's a light sensor. The light sensor will turn on the light in the bathroom because 70% of the falls happen during night.
Right.
And people are disoriented when they wake up.
Right.
So we need to make sure that the ambient is such that they don't fall. We can't have them walking around in the dark. The switches are bigger. They're at the average Indian elder is 5'4", so we have put it 100 mm down compared to regular real estate. We have rounded the wall edges. So we have done these little things. You have upgrades for the bathroom, where today a Kohler smart sensor, as soon as you use the restroom, can tell you, do you have UTI? Yes, no. Is your hydration level okay or not? A smart mirror will tell you as you're brushing, it will pull your temperature, it will pull your breathing pattern. So all of this gets integrated. Wow. If our doctor or nurse comes, they're measuring your BP, they're measuring your weight. Today a smart scale will tell you subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, BMI, your weight, many other such factors, where active glucose monitor will tell you your level of glucose. We feed all of this into our EMR. And then the EMR throws insights along with AI and of course a medical team who then develop individualized care plans. So it's a hardware, software integration that we have done.
That's fantastic. I think this is one of the best ways technology can be used, and hats off. I must say it's been an eye-opening episode, Adarsh, because what we've talked about goes against or draws parallels with years of conditioning about how we see our parents, how we see our elderly. We've talked about the blue zone concept. We've talked about elders finding relevance, finding community, defeating loneliness. We've talked about how Primus is creating such spaces where it's not just about, living your days out, but enjoying your life, living it to the fullest. And like you said, that when your time comes, because nobody can stop that, when your time comes, you should be on your feet and you should be laughing. I think that's a beautiful statement. We are at the end of the episode. Thank you so much for sharing all that insight. I am very excited, and I think my viewers will also be excited to at least visit. Even if you're not 55 years of age, I think they'll allow us to go inside and see what it's all about. But what I want from you, it's not a question. It's just that if you had to very simply take all that down and put it in one sentence, for some of our viewers who are maybe not yet convinced, who are still looking for that loophole, who are still looking for that, doesn't this feel too good to be true? So what would you tell them?
Firstly, thank you, Somak, for having me here.
It's a pleasure.
It was my pleasure to be here. My message is very simple. My job is not to suggest to anybody that they should, get into the Primus ecosystem. My job is to help everybody slow down the process of aging. So the suggestion that I have for all your viewers is, irrespective of where you are and who you are, please think back. If you're a person who is above 55, 60, look at how you can bring Blue Zone into your own life. How, please make sure that you have people around you and you actively work to make it such that you have people around you. Make sure you never give up on your passions. Make sure you don't listen to anybody and do what your heart wishes to do.
Beautiful.
And make sure that you think of health from the lens of prevention. I think this is my larger message to your audience.
Yeah.
I will sign off with a simple line. क्या कहेंगे लोग है सबसे बड़ा रोग.
क्या बात है.
So live your mercy, live your life on your terms and do things that make you happy.
It was lovely talking to you, Adarsh.